Welcome to the NGO CSW 67 parallel event, Women in STEM, We Are Here to Stay. We are a group of 9 women who met through an IVLP program by the US Department of State called Hidden No More. It is with the lessons that we learned from women from over around 40 countries that, the idea of this event was actually born out of. Women in STEM have historically been underrepresented and face discrimination and barriers to entry in these fields. However, in recent years, there has been a growing movement to promote gender equality and diversity in STEM. Women are making significant contributions in various STEM fields, from developing life-saving medical technologies to driving groundbreaking advancements in artificial intelligence and space exploration. Despite facing persistent challenges, women in STEM are breaking barriers and proving that they are here to stay. We have a panel discussion and a showcase event planned during this event today, where women from all over the world will share their achievements and experiences with you. I'll hand over to my fellow women in STEM and friend, Dr. Clementina, to start the panel discussions now. Thank you.
Thank you, Nisha. And I would like to welcome everybody. It's my pleasure to be here today among these amazing women, and it's my honor to be the moderator of this panel discussion. My name is Clementina Sasso, and I'm a woman in STEM here to stay, and I work as a solar scientist at the Italian National Institute for Astrophysics. Let me introduce you soon the speakers of this panel discussion, and let me thank them from the bottom of my heart to have accepted to be with us to inspire other women in STEM with their amazing successes. I start with Dr. Tista Prasad Joshi. She is a senior scientist at the Nepal Academy of Science and Technology. She received a Master of Science degree in Environmental Microbiology and a Master of Arts degree in Anthropology from Tribhuvan University, and a PhD degree in Environmental Engineering from the University of Chinese Academy of Sciences, with the University Excellent International Student Award. Dr. Tista's research is focused on drinking water quality and purification, which appears in many leading journals. She has been awarded the Organization for Women in Science for the Developing World Elsevier Foundation Award in Biological Sciences, representing the Asia-Pacific region, and the UNESCO OWSD Early Career Fellowship. Recently, she was nominated as one of the 50 visionaries of Nepal and was saluted with a medal. Dr. Tista advocates gender equity in science and promotes women scientists in Nepal. She is founding member of Women Scientists Forum Nepal, active member of OWSD Nepal chapter, and life members of Women in Science and Technology Nepal. She's facilitating many early career women pursuing their postgraduate and PhD research in laboratory. Thank you for being here. Then I'm going to present you Professor Maria Felicia De Laurentiis. She's professor of astronomy and astrophysics at the University of Naples, Federico II in Italy, and she is associated at the Italian National Institute of Nuclear Physics. Previously, she was professor of theoretical physics at Tomsk Pedagogical University, the Russian Federation, and visiting professor at the Goethe Institute of Frankfurt in Germany. Her scientific activity is essentially devoted to relativistic astrophysics and physics of gravitational interaction in their theoretical and phenomenological aspects. She plays an active role in the Event Horizon Telescope collaboration, EHT. There is an international collaboration that brought to us the first image of a black hole ever, and then the image of the black hole at the center of our galaxy, Sagittarius A star. Currently, she's deputy project scientist of the collaboration, and she coordinated the gravitational physics input working group and led the Sagittarius A star paper 6. She was also part of the AHT Science Council. She has received several significant prizes and awards, including the Einstein 2020 Medal and the Breakthrough Prize in Fundamental Physics for the first image of a black hole. She has more than 250 publications in peer-reviewed scientific journals. I'm going now to present Dr. Palisa Natasha Motapo. She's a scientist and research manager, currently the Deputy Director of Postdoctoral Research Support at Stellenbosch University, Division for Research Development in South Africa. She's passionate about capacity development in academia, improving research transition from academia to industry, and the focus on improving holistic development of high-end skills graduates in higher education in Africa. Palisa holds a PhD degree in zoology with invasion biology, a specialist myrmecologist with 6 years experience internationally as a postdoc in ant community ecology and applied entomology. Last year, she launched the Pan-African Postdoctoral Network with a focus on developing transferable skills for PhD students and postdocs, driving higher education policy and industry engagement, and enhancing the African postdoctoral experience through mobility and skills exchange around this. Palisa is currently studying towards a second master's in science and policy studies with the research project looking at the scholarly contribution, productivity and outcomes of early career researchers and postdocs, as well as policies relating to the advancement of these researches on the continent, challenges and opportunities. Palisa is also currently in the leadership fellow of the prestigious and highly competitive IREX University Administration Support Program, Research Manager and Fellowship founded by the Carnegie Corporation of New York. I don't know about you, but I am impressed of these CVs that they sent me. And it was really like, wow. And I encourage you all after the questions that we prepare for our speakers also to ask, and we will select 2 other questions, 1 or 2, depending on the time for them. So write in the chat if you have any curiosity about them. So let's start with the first question for Dr. Tista. And hi, very nice to meet you.
Hello, good evening from Nepal, and happy International Women's Day to everyone. And thank you very much for being here in this panel.
So our first curiosity for you is which was the most significant challenge you had to face as a woman in STEM, and how did you address it?
Yeah. It's just started from my story that I did my master's from the Nepal, and after doing my master's degree, actually I would like to go to the foreign country to pursuing my PhD. But at that time, that's the main challenges. My mother said that, oh, first not to do the PhD, first you have to have to getting married, then you will start your PhD. And after getting my marriage and having a baby boy, then I got an opportunity to have my PhD. But another barrier in my life is that I have started my PhD after 35. And you know that most of the scholarship scheme was just for the not for the after 35, and I just missed the opportunity to get a very prestigious cash trust scholarship from the China, where I got but I got another scholarship. This is a Chinese government scholarship. I mean that most of the women have their family responsibility, so that they have missed this opportunity to have to pursue their degree and other things. And this is also one of the challenges. And but where there is a will, there is a way. After getting all these things, having a baby, also I pursue my PhD, and with and I got a very good opportunity to do my research work, and being a very hardworking woman. Lastly, finally, I got an excellent international student award from the Chinese Academy of Sciences. Also, this is how I addressed it, because if we get any opportunity, we will solve it also easily. I mean that And another challenges is that it's a gender bias also. Sometimes nobody recognize our I mean that nobody recognize our achievement, because most of the recognize that the leadership position is in the male, and this is also major challenges. In Nepal, the latest information of the UNESCO said that only 7.8% female researchers are involved in STEAM education, and this is very much challenging and not getting enough fund, and we have very limited resources, and it is also very difficult to say as a scientist, because you know that scientists means that they have a more fund, more students, more researchers, and but it is very difficult to say that I'm a scientist, because if we have more fun, more technology, that I can say, but it is very difficult. And another challenging from the developing countries like Nepal, I have submitted my research papers several times, but it was rejected. It is also one of the other challenges which I am facing regularly, day by day. Thank you. Maybe we'll talk on later.
Yeah,
Is
so
it
you
okay,
mean,
Clevencia? Thank you.
so you mean not only as a woman, but also because you were coming from developing country. Yeah, this is also something to address, and thank you for putting it to our attention. So now we pass to Professor Maria Felicia De Laurentiis, and I would like to ask her. Here you are. Yeah. Yep. I would like to ask you, first of all, welcome, and thank you for being with us. And
thank you. I am happy to be with you and with all amazing women.
So, Maria Felicia, what inspired you to pursue a career in STEM, and how did you overcome any challenges you faced as a woman in this field? And also, how did you resist in Siberia for so long time?
This is a nice question. Okay, let me start and say that I have a problem. I am a person who constantly just wonder about everything, and I'm not sure it is good not just to have my brain always on. No, I have to switch off sometimes. And I decided to become a physicist to satisfy my curiosity about everything around me. And I just always was how everything was born and how the universe was created, no? And I think that there is no more intriguing way to do this by studying the law that govern all our universe, no? Law that sometimes turn out to be simple, elegant, with something perfect in their essence, no? And I was attracted by this. And also, since I am a dreamer, I was and I am a dreamer, I wanted something other than an ordinary job. And I thought, okay, this is the job perfect to me. And I was attracted by gravity. And the more I studied, the more I became intrigued by understanding how gravity works. And the best way to know how it works is to study the phenomena in our universe. And in particular, I was attracted and fascinated by black hole, no? These beautiful objects that are perfect laboratory to understand gravity. And yeah, regarding the second question, is an odd question. Being a positive person, I tried to transform this difficulty in the opportunity just to bring out the best of me and grow, no? I always try to have my goal fixed in my mind, and I'm trying to work remaining silent. I did in the past, just and I tried to make in fact to overcome all this difficulty, no? And in the end, what I learned by experience, that the work done with passion and honesty always pays off. And also, from my experience, I know that the best way to overcome difficulty is to collaborate with other people, share, communicate, be in relation with my colleague, no, and trust other people. Because at the end, I think that great goals are achieved when we learn to be humble and put like our egos aside and try to think and act for the good of the whole team.
So
last, how I survived in Siberia, it was difficult because you have to imagine, no, South Italy woman, no, that we don't have snow and our winter temperature are fine. Yeah, I was totally frozen. I was only concentrated on my job. I was not going outside, only just to buy something. Was I think the best time to work hard, because yeah, -40 is not comfortable weather.
Because you could do anything else. You couldn't do anything
exactly. Yeah.
So your advice anyway to girls, even if you face a problem, just go straight, don't look at anybody, and just believe in what you are doing.
Exactly. Yes, right.
Thank you. So now I welcome Dr. Palisa. She's coming. And thank you very much for being here with us.
Thank you.
And the question for you, the first question is, what do you think the future holds for women in STEM? And how can we work together to ensure that more women are able to succeed in this field? And what initiatives have you seen that are particularly effective in this regard?
Great, thank you. I did not mean to match my background in my outfit.
Oh yeah.
I did not see that one, but yes. Thank you very much for the invitation. And it's a big privilege to be on this panel and to serve with these amazing women, and to commend you also on the amazing work that you are doing. I think in terms of the question around what the future holds for women in STEM, I think at the moment there's lots of there's a big lens around women in general and supporting women and creating spaces for women to participate and have enabling environments for women to participate. There's funding that is directed for women. There's organization specific encouraging women and girls to participate, getting into higher education, getting into STEM fields, getting engaged in technology, and those kind of opportunities. It means that in the future, we will actually get more women participation in positions where they are visible in STEM, at the professorate level, at decision-making levels in fields of STEM, in government, in policy making, because those women would have come through the higher education system. We first need to ensure that the women get access to higher education and training. In fact, the girls get into school and do STEM fields. get into higher education, and we retain them there to the point where they can get their doctorates and be active role players in developing scientific knowledge, but also in participating in the policy space. I think what I've learned a lot now, it is important to have voices in policy space areas for women to be speaking on behalf. It doesn't matter whether you are a woman in the research lab, and then there's nobody making effort to ensure that it stays that way and it improves. So if there are 5 women professors, and there's no policy around how we're going to increase those numbers of women, or we're going to recruit, processes on recruitment, having equity, equality, remuneration, different types of support systems that women need, those happen at the policy level. And if you don't have women talking for you at that level, then we're not really creating an enabling space. So in order for this future that I'm talking about to be realized, we actually need women also in policy making spaces and decision making spaces. I think in terms of the initiatives, I will only refer to funding opportunities and training opportunities that are directed towards women, such as this program by the United States Department, which focus on really taking established professors or leading women in STEM to places where they can actually engage themselves and start to build these collaborative networks. We need that also to be established by governments in our respective countries, so that it's a deliberate effort that is made. There are funding that are made specifically for women in low and middle class countries, and those are important because we need that kind of representation also at that level. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And yeah, you were really precise and directly to the point, and we appreciate it also for the suggestion that you gave. Thank you. And now we make the second round of questions, and now we are mixing the speakers. So we start with Maria Felicia for the second round, and the question is, before we spoke about this difference anyway, that is like people behave different if you are a man or you are a woman. But the question is, what role can male allies play in supporting women in STEM? And what can organizations do to create a more inclusive workplace? So let's try to make alliance and not to go one against the other.
Exactly. It is a difficult question, I have to say. And I think that the first thing men should do is, as you said, Clementina, is be supportive and collaborative with us. And they should also understand that working with women is a strength. In general, collaborating with others is a strength, and learning from each other is a strength. The point, in my opinion, is that we should change our thinking. If we don't change, we don't solve this problem, no? And today we are not here to just talking about a woman problem. And we have to think that we are all the same and have the potential and ability to do any work. I repeat constantly to my students that we should not have prejudice. For example, when I'm working with students, with colleagues, I don't look at gender, at age, cultural or religion background. I don't let myself be influenced by like aesthetic or clothing. I'm trying to be attracted only to the brain, but not to the envelope that contain the brain. And I think men should think like we are thinking. The other question was, what should the institution do? This is also another complicated question to me. Maybe we should just promote female in STEM field. Is very essential because we have to instill the spark of wonder and the pleasure of scientific discovery since childhood, to helping girls, but also boys, like to find their own path, in my opinion. And the institution should be more committed, as also was said before, to implementing concrete measures to support change and promote like an inclusive culture. Maybe doing some training, I don't know, I'm thinking, because it's really an hard question, and sometimes I'm not able to tell what we should do, but we should do something.
Thank you very much, Maria Felicia. Yeah, we we are trying also to push institution, and I think that this forum is really a good place to do it and to ask for help also from them. And now let's go back to Dr. Palisa. So let's speak about mentor and mentees. Did you have one that encouraged you as a woman? And do you think this kind of figure is important?
Okay, so that's a little bit of a difficult question, actually. I was thinking about it quite a lot. You know, I didn't grow up in a place where, you know, scientists were walking around in the streets and I was seeing them on the television or anything like that. So I didn't have what you call the scientific capital or the social capital for that to happen. All I know is that I liked animals, I liked the environment, and that was something that I wanted to do, to study when I finish. When I will go to university, I wanted to study something with animals because that was something that I really liked. I enjoyed being in the environment, and yeah. So in terms of that, and also seeing people who are going to universities, it wasn't something very usual around from where I grew up. And so before I talk about any mentorship and anything, I think it's important to emphasize that we actually need to have more visibility of women, of of scientists and people who look like us, who get into these spaces. And they are necessary for it to be something realistic. We know that we live in a very unequal world, and people grow up in different circumstances, some more difficult than others, and some with more opportunities than others, and some with more visibility. I mean, Tista was talking about her mom telling her not to do her PhD. Her mom was aware what a PhD is. My mom wasn't. And so if you grew up in spaces where you don't have that kind of opportunity and foresight, it might not be encouraging even to consider the field, to consider getting into these kind of fields. In terms of mentorship, when I got into university in my undergrad, in my second year, actually, I met a postdoc. He's a Canadian guy. He was doing his postdoc. And when I got into my degree, I really wanted to do a PhD. For whatever reason, I just thought I'm going to get a PhD, and I made that my goal. And when Brent, he had a opportunity open for a lab assistant, and I raised my hand. I didn't know what he was doing in terms of his research, but I raised my hand, and I went to work with him. And I always talk about Brent as one of my first mentors who made it seemed like a possible thing for me to actually obtain this PhD and actually thrive as an academic, and actually encouraged me, in fact, and he allowed me many privileges that most interns and assistants would never get, like to completely look after an experiment and things like that. So it was a lot of responsibility, but it taught me a lot about what doing research every day looks like. And when I was under pressure about, when I finished my degree, my first degree, and I was under a lot of pressure to go look for a job, he was the first one to tell me that actually I had a lot of opportunity and space within academia for a person like me who looks like me, and it was important for me to be more engaged in the academic space. And he enabled me, actually created a lot of opportunities for me to teach, and to actually get bursaries for postgraduate studies. And then I had other mentors who are non-academic people in the business world. And they really taught me to think about scientific leadership or academic leadership, and to get into the spaces where decision can be made. I mean, I don't know if I would get an opportunity to share a little bit, but for me, I studied, I did my PhD, I did postdocs, etc., and I still didn't get an academic position, actually. So I couldn't be retained in the environment, even if I was passionate, even if I had all the credentials that could enable me, that could enable me to do this. But I could not get into the space. But it was only later, when I was in my current job, that I realized I actually have a lot more opportunity to change things, and to create those in those environments that I needed for myself. I'm now in a position to speak to them, to convince, to talk about the policy, to direct the resources, and we undermine, as scientists, these spaces. We want to be in the lab all the time, which is fantastic. I love being in the lab. I love doing my research. I will never give it up. Even today, I will say I will never give it up. I will never give up writing. I will never give up teaching. All of those things that I'm passionate about, that will help me give the tools to younger people. But in the space where I have been in this research space, I know what is needed. And I can speak to it from a leadership side, from a policy making side, and for me to be able to get into this space, I was mentored by people outside the academic environment who saw the value and kind of encouraged and drove me towards a space of academic leadership. So yes, I'm sitting, as a researcher, but I'm also sitting from the side of academic administration, and I know that we have even a bigger role to play in those spaces.
And we really thank you for your vision. I mean, to understand, because you were able to understand your needs when you were younger, and now to understand the needs of the others. So really thank you for your work. And now we go to Dr. Tista, and to give like advices for the young women that are starting now in the STEM field, and just to also to tell them how, in your opinion, they can overcome any obstacles that may encounter along the way.
Oh, thank you, Clemencia. As Maria also already mentioned about the advice, I like that advice. We learn to be humble. Very good advice for the young generation. She has already mentioned it. For the young generation, I think we need a more role model to build a good science, image of the good science, because most of the young generation now, they don't want to enroll in science because they didn't find a good role model, because most of the science pursuing student science, they do not get a good job. and most of them migrating, and brain drain problem is another very big problem. So that for each and every country develop the role model and give more priority for the scientists, so that the young generation, young students should motivated by themselves. And for my best advice is that know yourself. For the young generation, tap your potential. Just tap your potential, because we don't we if we do anything, but if you want to do, if you want to love to do, then just do it. And being a very hardworking, as a hardworking is also very important, because we know that intelligence is just one phenomenon, but we had to work hard to find out, to reach our goal. And another thing is that be honest, always honest to yourself and in your academic work and in everything, because honesty is the best policy. This is one of the formula which I am always applying. And also communication is very important, because that if you are a good communicator, you can just talk about your work, and you will also find more research questions, and it will help to build a network also. That is just a collaborative activities, and have a very good cooperation between the scientists or academic and industry, like these things. And also always be a cooperative to each other. It is very important to sustain everywhere, actually, not in one place, because like FUSI, communication, and other most important thing is that for a scientist, we should be a critical thinkers, what we are going to do and what is right, what is wrong. We have to think about these things. And for everyone, we need to push each other. Let's move by supporting each other, because if we support each other, if I support you, then you automatically support me. That's a very good positive attitude thing. These are some formula that just formula to become a good scientist or become a good researcher, or in any field, not only in the science, but in any field. It is one, I think it's a formula, and just to focus on your work. Thank you. I think I have, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to remember that usually we as women, we are criticized because we don't work together. I mean, as women with the other women. And this is something really, I'm just taking your words, what you say. This is something we should do a lot more, and just to support each other as we are doing today. And since you are here, Tista, we have time for questions, because we are perfectly in time. And we received a question from Rekha from Nepal. And I think it's she, sorry if, I mean, I cannot recognize the name from the name. She is an Erasmus scholar, and she would like to know how can she can plan for research work in Nepal.
Yeah, doing your research in Nepal is difficult in the first initial step. But I should suggest that everyone should do work in our own country, and we should create a opportunity also. And we are the person who is working as like a senior scientist. It's have to create some kinds of opportunity to other generation, like Rekha generation, like other generation. Likewise, here in my academy, I got one fellowship from Organization of Women in Science for the Developing World. From that fellowship, I'm giving support to my research assistant since 3 years, so that more fund is needed for the researchers, so that we can just help to the next generation students, researchers, and they will get a good opportunity, because we have the very virgin land we have the very virgin land for doing a research, and very actually if we do the anything, it's novel for our country because it is very good resources. We have very much have a huge potential of the natural resources and other things also. And for the student also should be a more smart to get a good opportunity, and smart students, smart researchers automatically get a support also. And another thing is that in my academy also give support like a research assistance program, research fellowship program to the young students who just passed their master's or PhD.
Thank you very much. And now, Maria Felicia, I'm just picking questions and you. And people are curious about if you had some pressure from your family because you decided to go for higher education. And if not, do you feel that there are still, I mean, students that fight with their families because they choose to go for higher education? And maybe, yeah, you go.
In my case, I have to say that I was supported by my family. Just let me say that I have a sister, and she also is a physicist. Then we received a lot of support, and also she is professor in the same university. I have to say that I didn't have a support by my husband, and he was putting me like in the position of choosing between him and science. And of course, now I am alone because I decided to follow science and not him. And just let me stress that he was a mathematician, was not just an ignorant man, let's say. Yeah, Clementina, there is still a problem where parents or family people don't support young women in pursuing their dreams, and this is a problem, especially in Italy. I saw this in our country, in our university. I'm teaching at the beginning of master thesis, and what I saw, there are more men and few women. And this is, in my opinion, is because family suggest them to study literature or maybe other just, let's call soft thing, and not study physics, astronomy, or chemistry or other thing. It's a big problem.
Yeah, I agree. So I think that if you really want to do something, we should work at a really low level. I mean, just like in the elementary school or like in medium class, because it's there that you can really
exactly.
tell them, no, you are good in this in science. I mean, it's not that you are bad in that, it's because of somebody who told you. And yeah,
exactly, I agree. I totally agree. We have to start from the beginning, maybe from their mother, because some women, they forgot, no, that to just that they are women, and when they have a boy, they don't tell them to have respect for women, or that women can also do some like job. Or
yeah, I am a mother of boys, of 2 boys, so I have a really great responsibility.
Yes, right, exactly.
Thank you, Maria Felisa. And now we have a question for Palisa. Being a Black woman in a multiple level oppressive country that continue to see Black people as lower than others. I mean, before with Tista, we were saying that it's not only to be a woman, but also to come from developing countries. In your case, it's also because you are Black.
Wow. Why am I not surprised? I thought about this question that it's probably somebody's gonna ask me this question. Wow. You know, the history of our country is, yeah, you know, the history of our country has been one of the biggest barrier for Black women to thrive in academia. And it's not that they are not there. It's not that they are not there and they don't have PhDs, or they are working hard or representing, or being visible. They are there. It's just the environments are sometimes not enabling. And there's deliberate effort, obviously, at the national level to kind of make sure that Black women get access and get into academic spaces and are retained. But even if those policies, again, if they just exist, and people who are in the position to enable are not accepting them or are not implementing them, we will never get to see the progression that we need to see, and the challenges that me and many others like me have faced. And we've actually had to jump off ship and drop our academic dreams to pursue spaces elsewhere where we can thrive. For those who are in there, sometimes they don't progress fast enough. And there are programs, obviously, that are there to kind of enable this. But I believe that it's the human behind everything. It's the human being behind everything who can make sure that things are implemented. If there is no buy-in from the human level, the decision-making human, it's not gonna change. It was very tough for me, and I don't even want to say too much about it, but I still believe that there's a lot of race-related selection in terms of getting access to academic positions, and not a lot of merit in the selection process. There are people who have excellent credentials, even much better than I could even dream of for myself, who still could not be retained in this kind of academic space, which makes us question, what is it? What are the criteria that you need to stay in an academic position and thrive as a Black woman in South Africa? Whereas in other spaces, it is a deliberate effort to improve that. So for my personal experience, I still believe even today that one of the biggest challenges is the acceptance of Black women in leadership spaces, in academic leadership at professoriate level, and not having enough representation also dampens our aspirations. We don't believe that it's possible. And also when you are in those spaces, you have to work double hard to prove yourself of your capabilities. Many of us are parents, and we have to make extreme sacrifices in order for us to be visible, which is not fair, which is not leveling the ground. And some of my friends will know that I always complain about this employing criteria when a job is advertised, and they call it, they are looking for a diversity candidate. Now tell me that if you get into a position and it was labeled diversity candidate, is everybody going to treat you on your merit, or are they going to start first looking at you at the label of diversity candidate? And what is a diversity candidate? It's someone who was never supposed to be there, but now we have to make space for this person. So even if we don't want you, you have to be here because you're a diversity candidate and we need a diversity candidate. Nobody will ever look at the merit, your ability, the importance, your role, your knowledge, your skills, all the things that you bring into that environment. So I've never liked that word. I've never liked to be classified under that word. And I still feel that those are the kind of drivers that make it impossible to even develop, because when you're supposed to move to a professor, you still need training, you still need to spend at least 2 more years or so to build up your profile. Meanwhile, someone else might not need the same kind of system. There are programs that our government has in creating more access for Black women and making sure that they finish their PhD, they progress, but when you are in those spaces, you are still, you're going to spend much more time being developed, being supported to grow, and you will never. The time for you from entry to professoriate is gonna take long, and you might end up jumping ship, or you're not even gonna be given the opportunity. So you will definitely end up jumping ship and getting into other spaces. So it's not easy, and I believe that our policies are there, our universities' policies are there, but the people need to be enabling. The departments, the research labs, the leaders, they need to be themselves, they need to be making sure and make it a personal mission to ensure that that happens in their spaces. Otherwise, we're just there to decorate and make the place look colorful.
So it was really great that we received these questions. This question for you, otherwise we would have lost really a lot this day, really. So let me thank you again, our panelists. You were all such an inspiration for us, and we also hope that you enjoyed being with us and stay this time together. So I hope to have soon another occasion to meet you again. And really, again, thank you very much and hope to see you soon. Thank you. And now I invite my colleague Jabu to bridge you into the next session.
Thank you, Clementina, and thank you to our panelists. Oh my goodness, what powerhouses you are. We are so inspired just hearing your stories and hearing what you've been through to be where you are as women, and the resolve at a personal level, and that wanting to be here. Today's the title of this webinar is Women in STEM, We Are Here to Stay, and you're such role models for that, for saying we are here. Tista wanted her PhD, she went for it. Even after starting a family and having those barriers, she still told herself, I'm here and I'm going to reach those dreams. And we've heard from all the panelists, I can go on and on, but what stood out for me is there are going to be challenges, but to the next generation out there, we are here to stay. And we are going to go into the next session, which is our voice, and we're going to have a little bridging video before we go on to the next session.
I love working in STEM because STEM is about solving problems to advance humanity forward. Inclusion is important in STEM because diversity and inclusion is what we need to get rich and effective solutions to the challenges that we face. I'm a woman in STEM and I'm here to stay.
I chose STEM due to my passion towards technology, problem solving, and making a difference in the world. STEM needs diversity to drive innovation and ensures that everyone has access to equal opportunities. Let's break down barriers, creating a more diverse and inclusive STEM community together. I am a woman in STEM and I'm here to stay.
So why I chose to work in STEM is because there are a lot of opportunities for each and every one of us to be creative and solve a lot of problems in the world today. And I am a woman in STEM and I'm here to stay.
I chose a career in STEM because I have a natural curiosity and passion for technology, and I enjoy exploring how technology can be used to solve problems in my society. I am a woman in STEM and I'm here to stay.
I became interested in embarking on a STEM career because of the opportunities that I saw in the field and because STEM careers are rewarding both intellectually and personally. Technology is always changing, so the learning process never stops, and I have always loved to learn new things. With the flexibility of my career in being able to work from anywhere, it has helped me achieve work-life balance and independence. I'm a woman in STEM, and I'm here to stay.
A career in the STEM field requires critical thinking, gives you the opportunity to be at the front line of innovation, and also provides you with transferable skills. And that is why I chose research in STEM. I am a woman in STEM and I'm here to stay.
My greatest love has always been and will always be working in the STEM industry because I really believe everyone will find something here. Although switching from a geologist to a software developer may be challenging, the fundamental emphasis on a both high level of technical expertise and a rigorous approach to problem solving remains the same. Like how they say humans are always allergic to the changes. I'm a woman in STEM, I'm here to stay.
I choose to work in science outreach to facilitate the communication between science and society. In my work, I look into light stories of women in science and I promote gender equality in STEM. I'm a woman in STEM. I'm here to stay.
I chose to work in telecommunication engineering because I discovered the internet and I wanted to become an agent of change between the digital and physical world. I'm a woman in STEM. I'm here to stay.
Working in STEM is so much fun for me. It makes me happy. I love being creative, come up with new ideas, challenge myself, and have a say in what our future looks like. I am a woman in STEM and I'm here to stay.
Up next is our showcase session, and the aim of the session is to highlight the work and initiatives of some remarkable women from around the world who are leading the way in promoting diversity, inclusivity, and gender equality in STEM. We hope that the insights and experiences shared will inspire others to take action in building a more diverse and inclusive STEM workforce. Thank you very much and enjoy the session.
Good day, everyone. Thank you for inviting me today. I am Gina Willis from Indonesia. I am the co-founder and currently Vice President of the Society of Women Engineers, affiliate Jakarta. This is me when I was 4 years old. I always thought that whatever my brother could do, I could do it too. I came upon Lego when I was playing at my neighbor's house who had 3 boys. I had to beg my mom to buy me some Legos. Fortunately, she did. In elementary school, I loved the MacGyver show on TV. He could solve any problem using a duct tape and Swiss Army knives. I guess he was one of my inspiration to be an engineer. I went to study in college in the US, firstly as a mechanical engineering student. I was the only girl and I felt alone in class. Then I switched to electrical computer engineering. I found the Society of Women Engineers at my university, California State Polytechnic Pomona. I was active as an officer at SWE Cal Poly, attending SWE conferences and participating in Team Tech competition. My first job was selling popcorn, snacks, and drinks at the movie theater before I started college. During college years, I was a math tutor. I was a knife saleswoman. I also did admin work on campus. And finally, at the last year of college, I got an internship related to my major at a semiconductor company, where I ended up being a full-time employee after I graduated and worked there for 6 years. It's fascinating to see how far ahead this industry has advanced since I worked there. After having 2 kids, I decided to move back to Indonesia to continue my family business, running the repair shop Nawilis Auto Service Center. It is a 60-year-old family business started by my grandfather. I'm proud to be a nerd. As a nerd mama, one of the places I took my kids to is the US Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama. I always love to take my kids to science centers or museums. Because of our passion in STEM, my cousin and I started the Society of Women Engineers Affiliate Jakarta in 2017. Davida Gondohusodo is the president of SWE Jakarta, while I hold the vice president position. SWE Affiliate Jakarta is one of the global affiliates, a local community of engineers that is committed to expand SWE's mission. You can check out the SWE website, SWE.org, if you want to create an affiliate in your city. We have many activities, including industry visits. In the past, we visited the Nestle factory and talked with their female engineers. We also visited the construction site of MRT Jakarta. That was really fun. Throughout the years, we collaborated with many organizations in celebrating women in STEM. We attended seminars and host panel discussions with different topics. We also ran a lot of STEM workshops for children and participated at Habibi Tech Festival. We got a lot of volunteers who like to teach children about the fun of STEM. We never ran out of volunteers. During Engineers Week in February, we usually hold a one-day STEM festival filled with workshops for the whole day. Just this past one, we had Boeing Indonesia as one of our sponsors. Kids learn about coding, robotics, and other activities. SWE Jakarta also has been running Technovation Girls Indonesia for the past 3 years. Technovation is the global tech education nonprofit that inspires girls to be leaders and problem solvers in their lives and their community. Last year, we had 90 students participating, and this year we have about 100 students. 20% are returning participants, with 30% of the mentors participating again. We couldn't do it without the support from our partners and mentors. One of our junior division team was the regional winner of Asia last year. We are so happy that we can give positive impact to the girls. In the end, this can all happen because of our kind partners and sponsors who continues to support our cause. Feel free to reach out to me for any questions or collaborations. You can check out our website, jakarta.swe.org, or our Instagram account at SWE Jakarta. Thank you, and I wish everyone is well.
Hi everyone, and I'm so glad to join all of us for this great showcase. So let's design future together. My name is Kone Fonyo Maimuna, and I come from Côte d'Ivoire in West Africa. About my background, I have a master in the public policy, and I work as a consultant in the communication. I'm a founder and the executive director of DNX Africa. I'm a STEM gladiator. Who we are, I'm also deeply convinced that equal opportunities start by equal access to training and education. So that's why we create DNX Africa in 2018 to promote STEM fields to girls and the women from the unprivileged area and the rural zone. So, why we create this incredible place? All of us need a safe place to learn, to create, and how to know more about us and other people, to raise our voice, and to feel part of some community, and maybe to express our genius. So that's why we set up this great and important space for the girls and the women. What is our vision and the mission? Our vision, we want to awareness 50,000 girls and the women around our country, and to train 5,000 girls and the women about STEM. And we would like to set up 10 STEM Makers Lab at the end of 2030. What is our mission? We would like to increase representation of women in the STEM fields as science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We would like to contribute to reduce the gap between female and the male about digital professional careers. We would like to build a pipeline of competitive and the competent girls, and for more inclusive development in our continent. So in our STEM Makers Lab, we have a different place. We have an IT room, robotics room, library. This is my favorite place. 3D printing room, and the creativity space. So I would like to say just a little bit about this room. In IT room, this is the place that they learn how to use computer, what is computer science, and how to code. And in this place, we have a 30 capacity and 25 laptops for the learning. And in the robotics room, we have 30 the capacity is for 30 people, and we have 10 laptops and 40 Arduino card and 2 Lego Mindstorm. And in this place, this is the place that they learn what is electronic, mechanic, and how to code a robot. And in 3D printing room, this is the place that they learn something about this new technology for them, and now they know how to print a cup. And in this place we have 2 3D print and the technical machine for the learning and how we can work on this. So about library, this is my favorite place. We have a 20 capacity and more than 30 books about code, leadership, self-confidence, and etc. And we organize sometimes debate around some books. And this is great activities that we love to do together. And we have our creativity space, and this space has a capacity of the 20 people, and we use this to make art, painting, and other activities. So our program, we have an awareness program and the training program. About the awareness program, we have a STEM 2 promoting STEM careers and the STEM Day. About training, we have Girls STEM Academy. This program is dedicated for young girls from high school. And the next one is Young Women Digital Program. This is the capacity building for the young women to permit them to use Microsoft Office as a professional and another skills. And the last training program for adult some young is productivity skills. And during this session, we talk about leadership, self-confidence, how to communicate, and how to negotiate something. And the last one is STEM for kids. In this, we did this on the Wednesday morning for the primary school children. And I would like to share our impact. So now at this day, we awareness more than 3,000 girls around and women around our country. We have training more than 300 girls and women. We are located in 3 municipalities, and we set up our first STEM Makers Lab dedicated to girls and the women. And now we have more than 19% of our beneficiaries that study in the STEM field. So thank you for your attention, and I would like to keep in touch with all of you. So this is our contact, and I would like to thank you, all the great women around the world that work in STEM. Thank you for your achievement. Thank you for to be a role model for the next generation, and keep shining, keep going.
Women's Day greetings from the sunny side of life, the Maldives. Where are the women in tech? That was our first question when we began. Our organization started with a tweet for a coffee that led to a gathering of fewer than 10 people. However, today we are a highly motivated, fun, and cohesive team from across the Maldives. Our mission is to inspire, empower, and celebrate women in science and technology. We do this through partnerships, collaborations, awareness, mentoring, and skill development programs. Over the years, we have partnered and co-created programs that are mostly focused on women and girls, policymakers, and community as a whole. Some of them are here. Technology has not gained attention before. Today, we know we have made an impact. And I'm here to tell you a bit about it, how we have done it. We have several programs teaching girls to code. Some of programs happen annually, where we host programs in different islands. Similar approaches followed for girls in data. Introducing computer science through Hour of Code have been one of our most successful programs, reaching over 10,000 participants. We have also trained over 200 mentors and built partnerships with government and private sector. Threats to girls and women are high in the cyberspace. We have a full community-focused approach while coming up with different tools such as trainings, animated videos, sticker pack, and posters. We celebrate Girls in ICT Day by giving girls to meet and industry experts, giving them opportunity to dream big and think about STEM as their future careers. How does it feel like being a software developer? What do we have to study? How much salary do you get? We see quite interesting questions from girls joining the sessions. As you all know, Maldives is one of the countries most vulnerable to the impact of climate change. To combat this existential threat, we need everyone to take action, and that includes young people, especially girls. Through technology, girls can learn about the impact of climate change and develop innovative solutions to mitigate its effects. We follow a school-focused approach for this. We always welcome the local initiatives. We collaborate with communities and organizations where technology can be used for efficiency and to make an impact. We are very proud of women working in science and technology sectors. We work with role models from door to door, share their stories on social media, and broadcast them on different media. By doing this, we have influenced organizations to promote the work of women and girls who work with them. Women who are previously invisible and unheard are more visible now. We are taking our success stories and programs beyond the Maldives. We join as panelist speakers and contributors for international events and projects. One of the programs I want to highlight is the recent digital literacy workshop we did in partnership with UNICEF Rosa, where we trained CSOs from 7 different countries. We are constantly looking to welcome partners, collaborators, mentors, and supporters to help us inspire and empower more girls and women in Maldives and beyond. Join us. Let's connect and collaborate to equip girls with access to technology to make our shared future bright. Let's leave no one behind in the quest for a better world. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Hello, everyone. Hello, ladies. I am so excited to be here today. And for me, this is such an important day. This is a day where we get to celebrate women globally, to say, we see you, we see each other, we are here and we've got each other's backs, and we can still talk about the issues that matter. We can honor the women that have gone before us and make sure that we can vote, made sure that we can drive, made sure that we could access education, and we can do the same for the next generation, because those women could have sat comfortably, but they realized things needed to shift. And there's so many things that women are still facing that still need to shift. So us gathering here today and talking about issues that women face and what we are doing in our silos wherever we are globally, and inspiring each other. This is such a privilege, and I am so grateful to be here. I am Nonjabulo Gule. I have a PhD in polymer science, also called materials engineering, depending on where you are in the world. I'm doing my MBA, almost there. I'm a registered professional scientist and a rated research scientist in South Africa. I am a co-founder of Pen Generation, and that is what I would like to talk to you about today, because it's a project that is very close to my heart. This NPO was registered in 2020 after more than a decade of doing this informally. Me and my friends decided the need is huge. Let us establish a platform where we can actually do this in a more formal way. And we registered PenGen, the Pen Generation, as we call it. The PEN is actually just from our names, the first letter of our names, as you can see, but it just resonates with what we stand for. We are the Pen Generation, to inspire the next generation to be educated, because before we can even talk about women in STEM, these women need to be educated. These women need to be able to participate in this global group that is called Women in Science, or Women in STEM Careers. So at PenGen, our mission is changing the world one child at a time. And we are doing this the only way we know how, which is education. We are aiming to ignite dreams and to keep dreams alive. Just for a bit of context, in the South African setting, the type of education that children get access to depends on their social and economic background. Unfortunately, these scenarios exist in our schools in South Africa. And where PenGen fits in is we've all been in that first picture. We've all been students. We've all been learners. Most of us from underprivileged communities. And somehow, by some miracle, because this percentage is so little, you make it, you get to get an education, you get to go to tertiary, you get a degree, and then you start working. What you decide to do when you start working can inspire that child that is sitting there with no one around them, getting out of that cycle of poverty, that cycle of lack of education. You going back to where you started and saying, look at me, I was wearing that same school uniform. I was your age, and I'm here now, and you can do it. Show them that they can do it. They can dream. Viola Davis was right when she said you need to see a physical representation of your dreams before you can even believe it. We do this through school visits, video experiments.
we do experiments with the schools, job shadowing, and there's something we call the Buzz Them In campaign, where you take these students to open days at universities where they do not feel like they belong. Show them these are the spaces you are going to have to go to, and you can do this. Most of the children that we tend to go to are from low income families in South Africa, and this whole visiting school, not so much the experiments or the Buzz Them In campaign, but that's just going back to the school, was inspired by an organization called Inspiring the Future, which is based in the UK. And we have added so many programs into that. And you can partner, you can establish the same in your country, your community, because it's got so much potential. It's not just about us, it's about a generation that can be inspired to take on education, to dream. And just like Nelson Mandela said, sometimes it falls upon a generation to be great. And we can be, as women, that generation. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Yulisa Mateo from the Dominican Republic. I'm so happy to be here next to so many amazing girls that today are presenting, and also knowing that all of you are here because you want to change the world the same way we do. So yes, we are here. We are going to be talking about a little bit about what I do in my country. I have a project called Mujeres TIC RD, that is Women in Tech, Dominican Republic, and also we are in Bolivia and Guatemala right now. And we are Women in ICT, a positive impact project for the present and also the future. We are helping girls to be themselves, to inspire, motivate, and educate girls in tech. So first of all, I want to show you who I am. I'm Julissa Mateo from the Dominican Republic. I'm a software engineer and also an ICT engineer. I've been working in this industry for around 10 years now. And also I'm the founder of one of the most important communities in my country called Mujeres TIC, Dominican Republic. And I'm being recognized as the PMI Global as a Future 50 nominee. So I'm so happy to be here and sharing all of the stories behind what we do in the Dominican Republic. And what is the Mujeres TIC RD? We are a girls in tech community. We are not an NGO. We work as a community. We work for getting girls into tech, showing them how amazing the world inside technology is, that you don't have to be just a programmer or probably a designer. You can be anything you want in technology. It doesn't matter if you study another thing. You have a space in this community. We help the girls with opportunity, mentorship, networking, empowerment, and so many other ways you will know later on in this presentation. And yes, we are now creating spaces for girls in my country because we don't have enough girls doing tech, and usually girls prefer to study another thing, so we help them to get into technology. Why do we exist? Currently, as I was saying before, we have a huge gap between the girls that decide to go into tech and the girls that decide to do something else. So we are now working with this minority to help them to understand how can you become whatever you want, because you cannot be what you cannot see. So we are showing them what can they become if they are in tech. And this is something that I really appreciate, seeing so many girls that probably at the beginning of their career they didn't even know what to do, but now they know, and they're so happy because the volunteers are amazing. I want to show you who are the beneficiaries of our community. We work with three main groups of girls. The first one are the high schoolers. We work with high schools. This is where when you don't know what to study, you don't really know what you want to be doing. So we will show you what can you actually study. The college girl are the girls that are already studying technology, but they probably are thinking about quitting, so we help them to get into technology and not quitting and finding job for them. And the professional are the girls that help us to get all of these girls become part of this community. We also have two main objectives. With the short term is create a solid community where you can find yourself in it and create a great. And the long term is to be able to create equity between girls and boys in this community. So at the end of the process, we don't have a reason to assist. So this is something that we are really appreciate. Maybe 1 or 2 years to be able to finish this. Also, we are looking for girls in technology. We are looking to inspire, motivate, and educate girls. We do this by showing them how to do it, motivate them to get into a job, and educate them so they can actually earn their own money. We have so many programs in our community. We work with boot camps, tech talks, virtual training. We have a great a conference called Women Changing the World. We help the girls to come. We had like 15 speakers. Normally, girls don't speak at this kind of events, but we make sure now that we have our space so they can talk about technology, talk about what they like, and then they can actually go to many other kind of events and conference, feeling confident in what they are doing. We talk about software, cybersecurity, database, AI. This community has a space for anybody willing to learn about technology and finding their way in. We are now in different countries. We started in Dominican Republic, but now we are in Guatemala and also Bolivia. We have more than 1,200 volunteers in these three countries. More than 15,000 girls impacted, and more than 600 trainings in different subjects. So we know we are being working so close, with so many girls so far. So if you want to know more about our community, just follow us through our social media, maybe Mujeres TIC RD or Mujeres TIC GT or BO are the different accounts that we have for the country. And also you can actually follow me and get to know me. And I want to get to know you too with my hashtag that is Julissa and Mateo. So thank you so much for being here, and it was a pleasure for me to be presenting with all the girls today. Bye.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Cristina Marquez, and today I'm going to share 3 stories about my journey in STEM. I'm a doctor in telecommunications and lead in advanced analytics in the Department of Data and Artificial Intelligence of Singular. And since I was a child, I have always dreamed to become an agent in the interplay between the digital and physical worlds and making it more sustainable through tech and collaboration. And that's why after becoming a telecommunication engineer, I wanted to pursue the PhD. And as you might have noticed, with the evolution of new technologies, our way to connect with people has changed, and so did the mobile internet traffic. Since it grows along with the number and diversity of services, it is important to understand the demands of the distinct services for properly dimension and orchestrate the network, as well as understanding social behaviors. But how? Well, I explored diverse methods for slicing network architectures that will increase in the efficiency in resource management and also take into account the distinct isolation requirements of the resources and the trade-off between the efficiency and the isolation. Before you saw the diverse way to set the slices and here how the different behavior of the requirements that each service has. And well, these slices could be placed in the network in any place, from the antenna to the cloud. Doesn't matter because this virtualization allows us to do so. And this passion about undertaking challenges and reflected in the work of the PhD combining 5G and artificial intelligence was followed of becoming part of the next generation of the Internet European Initiative of Collaboration, so that we could explore also connectivity and mobility. In this way, with the new improved data plans and widespread mobility, broadband availability, We could have better connection between areas, reducing the social segregation and services that would be anticipated and meeting the demands of the users, boosting new lifestyles, mobility, internships, and collaboration between different countries. And well, my second dream was kind of related with this agent of change, and to do what I wanted was to go to MIT. And well, here you could see when I I did it. After collaborating with NGI, I was able to go there with this initiative of explorers, and well, you see me there before going and then being there in one of the rooms and everything. But I'm not always looking for new challenges, new tools to overcome them, and share what I learned. I also like to share that in my social networks. And well, I've been awarded with several companies like Ericsson, Fermax, the Spanish Guild of Telecommunication Engineers in Spain, and many others. And I have committed myself into tech and social good, supporting diversity and equality as it is reflected in my social networks. And at Technovation, I also participated. My team was formed with these girls you can see here, and it was an international entrepreneurship program to break the gender gap in the STEM fields, solving a community issue with a mobile app and a business plan. And well, this is my team representing the Spanish community. Before going to the final in San Francisco, this was in Madrid. Before going there, we had many interviews with media. It was viral. And well, this is one of the first ones that we recorded before going there. It was an amazing and exciting project. I recommend you to take it out. And well, we were able to visit many places. Well, we saw the museum with them, had many talks related with technology, and well, we could explore like hacking and other cyber security things there, as well as robotics. And I like also to collaborate with other entities like ACM Women or AVERS with the embassy, so that this gender gap is reduced. But apart from my research, I also participate as a mentor in Asia Space App Challenge. Was, for example, the case where I was part of the jury, but in ACM I've been mentor and in other contests as well. And since it is my hope that more people help reducing the gender gap, empowering participants, after these experiences, leading by example, I co-founded Mentit, a program to increase the female telecom engineers' vocations. And I believe that our network and participation over similar programs would enrich the world. Thank you so much, and back to you.
Oh, that was really intense session, I should say, and really, really interesting and inspiring. I would like to thank all our attendees for joining us today and our panel for the information that you have shared and the everything that we've got to learn from you today. So I hope that all of us goes back to our daily lives with something something even though it's little, something to take away from this session that we've had, some inspiration, some piece of knowledge, or some idea about something that we could probably do tomorrow, right? So thank you for joining us, and we've actually shared Twibbon link on the chat, which you can use to spread this information more, or to just show your support for women in STEM, and to show that you are here to stay. Thank you. I think we'll start winding down now. Thank you. Have a great day.